3 sleepless nights. Welcome to episode 1 of the Sleep series. Before you start listening to the first episode, real quick, why am I creating these series? Well, I want a big channel. I don't want a matchstick channel. I want a candlestick channel. I want a big channel, and I know the best way to do that on YouTube is by giving something of value, but also doing it in an entertainment type way, something fun, something that people can actually enjoy and immerse themselves in, and that's my goal for you as well. And if you are somebody who's been struggling with insomnia, or who is struggling right now with sleepless nights, maybe you can't fall asleep, maybe you struggle with sleeping in the night, waking up. If that is you, I want you to listen closely to our first episode, because I will be sharing a lot of tips inside on how to avoid sleepless nights and how to get back to normal, restful sleep. This is gonna be fun, so let's get started. And our first character, her name is Julia. That's gonna be the main character of our first episode. And Julia, right now, she has trouble falling asleep. She wants to create her own business, a hair salon business, but because of insomnia, because of sleeplessness, she doesn't have the energy. She's tired all the time and she can't do it. And if you also have big dreams in your life and you've felt like because of tiredness, because of low energy, you can't go all in what you want to do because of insomnia or because of sleeplessness, that is also you. Listen closely, you're gonna like this story. So let's get started. We begin, and I have a few notes here in my notebook just so we keep on track here. So first off, let me tell you about, we begin with a man. I want you to imagine a 70-year-old man with white hair and a white short beard, and he's walking down the street. He's wearing a white shirt, but on a man that's 70 years old, you would imagine that white shirt to be buttoned up, high up, right? Well, this man, he had his shirt unbuttoned up to his belly button, so just the first two buttons buttoned up. He was imagine him wearing a black suit, black pants, and nice pink loafers. And this man, he's walking down the street and he is dancing. Every few steps he dances, he is going through the streets with a big smile on his face. People are turning around, looking at him, wondering why is this man so happy? And he's joyful. He just goes forward. Have you ever seen a man like that on the street who just seemed happy for no reason at all? He just seemed happy. Well, this was him. This was this man. And this man today, he was meeting with Julia. A dog barked nearby. A couple of dogs, they started fighting, barking. This man, he continued walking without caring, his smile kept showing on his face. Baby started crying loudly. Wow. This man, he kept on going. A thunder erupted and it blazed a tree nearby. That man kept on walking, kept on dancing through the street. An earthquake erupted. Volcano lava started going through the streets because of a volcano and the earthquake, and the earth was shaking, and that man was still going through the street dancing. Okay, maybe the last one didn't happen, but if it did happen, this man would have kept on going, joyful and happy with whatever's going on. Why? Well, we'll talk about that later. Now, let's go to the woman he's going to meet today. Julia. Julia was in her bed. She was not sleeping. She was under a big, thick, white blanket, and it was almost time for her to wake up and go to work. But Julia did not want to go to work. Have you ever felt like that? After a sleepless night, like you just don't want to go to work? Well, that's how she was feeling, especially because the last 3 nights she could not fall asleep. She rolled around in bed all night long. Maybe she got a half an hour or an hour of sleep, but for the most part, last 72 hours, she was awake. For the most part, she was awake, and now she felt tired and exhausted, and she did not want to do anything. Next to Julia's bed, I want you to imagine now a woman. Imagine her with a black hair and black clothes, just black all around, and her hair, on top of her hair, with 2 very thick bands, those elastic bands. Her hair was held very tightly with those on top, with 2 elastic bands, and her clothes were also seemed very tight on her body. She had one of those belts that was stretched on tight as well, and she was looking at Julia. I want you to imagine her standing right next to Julia's bed, looking at her, holding her hair like this, and having a slight smirk on her face. And as she's looking at Julia, this woman says, "Pathetic. Look at you, worthless thing. So tired, so weak. Get up. Come on, you gotta go to work. Come on, get up." Julia slowly, ever so slowly, she lifted the white blanket, the white heavy blanket from her, and so slowly she got up from bed and went in the bathroom. Have you ever felt like that, by the way? In the morning, like just getting up from bed, it was something difficult to do. That's how Julia was feeling right now. So she went in the bathroom, she looked in the mirror, straight in the mirror, and she relieved a very, very deep sigh. The woman next to her, she followed her right in the bathroom. She stood next to her. I want you to imagine. So Julia is looking in the mirror. This other woman in black, she's standing next to her, and she is chuckling. She is laughing quietly. She was saying, "Look at you. Just look at your eyes. They're so red. I wonder when you go to work, what is your boss gonna think? What are your colleagues gonna think? You know what? I know exactly what they're gonna think. They're gonna think you had 1 too many bottles of wine last night. Yeah, they're gonna think you are drunk." Julia, she swallowed hardly at that. The other woman said, No, actually, don't worry, Julia. They're not gonna think you're drunk." With your shaky hands, and Julia, at this comment, she looked down at her hands and she noticed that her hands were visibly shaking. With your shaking hands, with your low energy, you know what? They're gonna think you're on marijuana or cocaine, or maybe they'll think you're adventurous, that you're on heroin. Yeah. Imagine if your boss thought you were on heroin. What do you think he's gonna do? At this thought, Julia started crying. Not loudly, but tears just started going down her eyes and her cheeks. when those tears, I want you to imagine them going to her mouth, and she's not doing anything. She just stands there, listening to this other woman talk shit on her. Why? I don't know why. Well, I do know why. We'll talk about that. That will come clear pretty soon. So Julia is standing there, and this other woman is telling her, come on, you gotta go to work. You gotta take a shower. Go take a shower, you worthless weakling. Julia relieved another sigh. She stripped off, threw all her clothes at the bathroom floor, didn't care about that, and went into the shower, turned the hot water, and started showering. And you might find it a little bit weird, because she did not bother to cover herself with the curtain. She undressed right next to this other woman in black, and she went into the bathroom, not bothering to pull the shower curtain, which it might make sense when somebody, and I want you to listen closely to this, because it's gonna explain something that you have probably felt if you've had sleepless nights. So whenever you have sleepless nights, you go into what I call survival state. Your freeze, fight, flight system kicks in, and your more primitive brain is more active now. You are much more attuned to what is negative in the environment, and because of that, things like how you look, how others perceive you, that people don't care so much about that when they're in survival state. So that could explain why this is also true for people who are suffering from a big illness, or whether it's mental or physical illness, which is kind of related to insomnia also. Not sleeping 3-4 nights, you feel weak, you feel ill. So in that survival state, most people just don't care about how they look. They just want to sleep. And that was Julia in that moment. She doesn't care how she looks. She just goes in the bathroom and she takes that shower. Now, we go to her job. It's 8 o'clock. I want you to imagine it's 8 o'clock in the morning and Julia is in Starbucks. But she's not there to take a coffee. She's not there to take a coffee and wake herself up. Instead, she's there as a barista. She makes coffee for the customers. The first customers are coming in, and Julia has to put in on a big bright smile, one of these. And she put on the first one, and as she relieved it, it felt so forced. It felt so hard this morning to stretch those corners of her mouth, because she did not feel joyful. Like, the whole goal of that smile is to look happy and joyful and cheerful and get people into a state like that, to get the customers in that state also. But when you're not feeling particularly cheerful, when you're feeling like shit, if you haven't slept 3-4 nights in a row, how do you feel? Do you feel like smiling? No, I definitely not felt like smiling at all when I've had nights like that in the past. So, but that was Julia's job, and this whole day, the next 8 hours, she was forced to put on that smile every couple minutes. Just put on a mask of a happy, cheerful, energetic person when she was feeling weak and exhausted. So, that's 8 o'clock. Let's go a few hours further, and I'm gonna speed things up because I need to go real quick. So we go to 11 o'clock now. Now, Julia was thinking, my shift ends at 16 o'clock. Just 5 more hours and I'm gonna go home and I'm gonna go to bed and I'm gonna have a long sleep. Like, I haven't slept for 3 nights. I'm gonna sleep for sure, right? If you felt like that, like if you haven't slept a lot of nights, then you're thinking, well, now I'm gonna sleep for sure. I don't care if it's in the night or in the day, I'm gonna sleep for sure. If that's you, then listen closely. In just a couple of minutes, I'm gonna share something very, very important for you. So this was what Julia was thinking. She took the next tray and put 3-4 cups of coffee on that tray, and she continued with her work. Now, let's make it a little bit more interesting. 1 hour. It's 3 o'clock and there's just 1 more hour for Julia to go through this day, to keep smiling, keep giving all this coffee to the customers. The coffee machines that were, imagine 3 coffee machines at the shop now. Now it's starting to get busy, and all the machines at the coffee shop are working, all 3 machines. And Julia was feeling like there was a beehive of 1,000 bees just buzzing in her mind. Her hands were starting to shake again a little bit because of all that tiredness. But she was soldiering on. She was thinking, just 1 more hour, just 1 more hour. So now I want you to imagine her. She takes a tray, she puts 1 coffee cup in the middle, and around the coffee cup she put 8 glazed donuts, 8 fat glazed donuts. These were for her next customer, not for 8 customers or 4 customers with 2 donuts each. This was for 1 guy. So you could imagine this guy. He was a shaped man in the middle section of his body. He was a large man, a big man, and he was sitting on a chair, working on a laptop, wearing a black shirt and black pants, with a very pimpled face, a face that looked red with pimples, big pimples, small pimples, all kinds of pimples. So Julia this was the heaviest tray she had ever taken, and as she did it, she almost felt like a gym member, a bodybuilder who was lifting a barbell with 4 weights on each side, 4 20-pounders on each side. It felt like the heaviest weight she was lifting, but this was her job. She left the tray and she started going towards her customer. The other woman, the woman in black, she joined her with a slight smile on her face. And she started talking with Julia. So Julia, you're thinking of going home and sleeping, is that right? Have you thought about, is that really a good idea because it's gonna be sunny outside? What if you can't fall asleep again? What do you think is gonna happen then? At that, Julia started imagining, well, what is gonna happen? She started picturing herself at night. She was still, not at night, but at 4:30 back at her house. She's in her bed. She's under the blanket, under her white, thick and heavy blanket, and she is spending half an hour, 1 hour, 2 hours, and again she can't fall asleep. She's just rolling in her bed sheets, and she's feeling worse. She's feeling even more pathetic as that woman was calling her. Her hands, in that moment, they started shaking even more visibly, and Julia noticed a single tear dropping on her cheek at these thoughts, at the thought of going a fourth night, because going a fourth night without sleeping, what would that have meant? That would have meant Julia had a condition that she was sick, that she would have to take pills, or who knows what. So as her hands, yeah, I didn't, I need to talk a little bit more, do some more type of storytelling, but just imagine her, she's in a very bad state, she's feeling very weak, and her hands are shaking, she's imagining this bad situation where she can't sleep again, just rolling around in bed, and bam! Suddenly, she gets brought back into the real world by a shout, a loud shout from the man in the black shirt and the pimpled face. As Julia was woken up, and actually before I mentioned what she woke up to, something that horrified her, but before I go into that, I just want to mention, have you ever thought about sleeping in the day? Like, have you ever thought, is it a good idea to sleep in the day? Should I sleep? Should I not? I want to share something with you. There is something called a sleep drive. Imagine a wave in the ocean. A wave, as it goes towards the shore, it builds up, it goes bigger and stronger. And when it goes to the shore, when it reaches the beach, it just flattens out. It disappears. This is your sleep drive. This is your desire to sleep. Throughout the day, it builds up. The bigger your sleep, that wave, your sleep drive builds throughout the day, the easier, the quicker you fall asleep at the night. However, here's the problem. There are certain things that people do that you might be doing right now throughout the day that disrupt that wave, meaning towards nighttime it's not so big, it's not so high. And if it's not so high, that means you will have if it's high, you fall asleep quickly. If that wave, if you have disrupted it doing certain things, then that wave, it's not high, it's lower, and your chances of falling asleep are lower as well. And one of the big factors determining whether that sleep drive is high, whether that wave is high or low, whether you're gonna fall asleep more easily or more difficult, is whether or not you sleep during the day. If you take cat naps, hour naps during the day thinking, I just want to get some rest, don't do that. That is terrible when it comes to your sleep drive. It completely disrupts it. If you're in a situation like this, you haven't slept a few days, soldier on. Just soldier on till the nighttime and then go to sleep. So, just a little tip there. Now let's go back to Julia. So Julia, she had just dropped her tray, and going back to reality, she sees that man sitting with the pimpled face on the chair, on the table with his laptop, the donuts, the glazed donuts with all that white powdery sugar, they are all on his black shirt, on his black pants, just covered in white. He looked, imagine him looking like a man who just snorted a bit of cocaine. That's what he looked like. But that wasn't the worst part. The worst part was when Julia noticed that at the keyboard of the man's laptop, there was something flowing on it. It was the coffee. The keyboard, all the keys on the keyboard, I want you to imagine them covered with coffee drink. That's bad, right? That's not good. But Julia, she's a resourceful woman. She looked immediately at the screen, and she noticed that the screen, it's working. It was open, so she goes to the man. She says, Sir, I'm very, very sorry, but your computer, it is, at least it is still working. And that is when the screen went from bright to blue. Julia noticed a white frowny face, that one with the two dots and the frowny face. And the text below, your PC ran into a problem. You will need to... And then Julia could not finish the rest of the text because the screen went black. Black. And that is when she slowly, ever so slowly, turned to the man in the chair and she started saying, Sir, I have a friend. He is great with computers. We're gonna save your computer. We're gonna bring it back to life. We can do this. She was expecting this man to shout, to scream, but instead he did something much, much worse. He whispered, Girl, do you know how much this laptop cost me? Sir, I'm very, very sorry. We can fix this. This laptop cost me $3,000. So we can fix this. Girl, this... He started raising his voice a little bit. This cannot be fixed. This is a corpse in a pine box covered in dirt. This laptop... Did you not see what just happened? It just went black. That means it is dead. It is 6 feet underground unless... But my friend, unless your friend is a necromancer, unless he can bring the dead back to life, this is dead. The dead is dead, and that is it. Julia did not know what to say. And then she heard the one sentence that you don't want to hear, ever. The man said, I want to speak with your boss, please. Julia was frozen. For a few moments she did not know what to do, but she remembered, okay, I gotta do something. And at least I can get away from this man, so she turned around. And even though she knew she was going into an even bigger trouble, she went back to her back office and went to her boss. Now I want you to imagine her in her boss's office. Her boss is sitting behind his desk. He's working on some... he's very focused on writing some documents. And Julia walks in very, very shyly, knocks on the door. Yes, come in. Sir, I have something to tell you. Okay, tell me what's going on. And Julia told him the story of how she dropped all those powdered donuts and that coffee on the computer. I see, said her boss. You know what this means, right? Sir, please, don't worry. Don't worry. No, there's nothing to worry about. I want you to finish your shift. I'm gonna take care of this customer. Really? Sir, I don't know what to say. No need to say anything. But tomorrow, and you know what? Tomorrow, there's no need to come to work. No need to come to work? What do you mean? I mean, there's no need to come to work tomorrow. You need some... I think you need some rest. In fact, for the rest of this month, you can take a vacation. A vacation? You mean a paid vacation? No. I mean you're fired. Collect your things at the end of the day, and I don't want you to come back here anymore. Goodbye, Julia. Julia, once again, she felt frozen in place. Did you not hear what I said? I said you are fired. Julia said, right. And you want me to finish my shift first, right? Yes. Finish your shift. You still have 1 more hour to work here at Starbucks. And when you're done, I don't want to see you ever again. Am I clear? Right. Julia stood up and she went back to finish her shift. And as she went back, another customer came in, and as a habit, she smiled, a big one of these smiles. when the customer sat down and Julia was still preparing the coffee, she noticed faintly that she was still smiling. And she wondered, why am I still smiling? Why do I have this smile still on my face? And she tried to put her smile down, but for whatever reason, she could not. And she started wondering, I'm not going crazy, am I? And that is where we'll end episode 1 of the Sleep series. So, thank you so much for hanging out with me on episode 1. Episode 2, that man that I mentioned in the beginning, you remember the man with the 70-year-old man with the unbuttoned shirt and the black suit and the pink loafers? The one who is dancing on the street, laughing and enjoying life? Well, he is coming. He's coming to meet Julia next episode. And he is gonna help her get back to normal, restful sleep. So, if again you are struggling right now with having sleepless nights, tune in next time. Next episode is going to be very valuable for you. So, my name is Vulkan. Thank you for hanging out with me again, and let's keep going. By the way, as a schedule, if you're wondering how often am I going to be uploading these videos, I'm going to be uploading them. I'm going to start once every week, and if I have the time, I'm going to upload more. I'm going to go twice a week, or maybe even 3 times a week. I want to go as much as 5 or 6 times a week. But as you noticed, somewhere in the middle, I'm not such a good storyteller yet. I still need some more practice on camera to speak. So I'll start with 1 a week and we'll go from there. Alright. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. Thank you for listening, and I'll see you very soon.